By rights, there should have been a title match for all of Mercedes Moné's many title belts against Toni Storm, Timeless Toni Storm's AEW Women's World Championship belt, but it didn't work out that way. But a lot of people considered it the most important women's heavyweight championship match of the Trish Stratus era, and I do believe it. Now, it's a shock to me because I thought Toni Storm would basically job for Mercedes Moné, but that's not what happened. This occurred on Saturday, July 12th at AEW All In Texas, a pay-per-view event from the Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, the former Dallas Cowboy Stadium. Now, they played mind games early before Toni mocked her with dancing. Moné started to beat down the Storm for the next few minutes. Storm began her comeback as the fans got behind her. Moné eventually went right back to working over the back of back of Storm. Moné went for a frog splash, but Storm put the knees up and rolled her up for a two. Storm with a German suplex before hitting another one. Storm with the hip attack, then the Storm 0 for 2. They traded pin attempts before Moné with the moneymaker got her to 2. Storm eventually fought of a wrist lock before being sent face first to the turnbuckle. Storm with a face buster for 2, and this caused Toni to get blood at her nose. Moné tried to staple make her, but Storm got out of it. Storm hit several Storm zeros for a near fall. She then went for a hip attack, but Moné rolled her up for 2. Storm then hit the heart attack with the Storm 0 off the top rope with the win. Now, this was a very, very compact match, and ironically, this is Moné's first singles loss in AEW. Now, the idea about Moné, she is basically kind of a roving champion, almost like Ultimo Dragon back in the day for the cruiserweights. Now, again, according to other published reports, he said for the first time since arriving at AEW, Mercedes Moné has come up short. When Storm emerged victorious at AEW All In, she defeated Moné after an Avalanche Storm 0. Moné had put up a fight, kicking out of 3 consecutive Storm Zeros, but Storm's final move was enough to put away the TBS champion. After the match, the announcers mentioned it was Moné's first loss since arrival at AEW last year. Now, she spent the last year collecting titles, including the AEW TBS Championship, in her lead up to the match. She also won the Owen Hart Foundation tournament at Double or Nothing, claiming the title belt that comes with winning. In the weeks that followed, she also won the CMLL Women's title and the EWA Women's title Championship, as well as various European and world belts. Now, since leaving WWE, Moné has only lost a few times. She formerly held the IWGP Women's title before losing to Mayu Iwataniya in April 2003. More recently, she lost the New Japan Strong Women's title to Azam, who pit Mina Shikawa in a triple threat match over the title. Now, ironically, earlier at All In, a future opponent probably for both of them, Athena won the Women's Casino Gauntlet match, setting up a future possible clash with Storm over the women's title. Now, Storm had said in published reports she was going to put the belt back where it belongs, up her vagina, and that's what she did. Now, Toni Storm, as we say right now, is so hot. This is what she said prior to the match. I have evolved. You've all watched me evolve from this little happy-go-lucky thing that just turned up, very beautiful, very attractive, of course. You've watched me take full form, and I like to think that people have had such a lovely time while watching this all happen. Now, the 4-time AEW Women's World Champion now is the longest combined reign of any woman to ever hold the belt. We've seen several iterations of Toni Storm. She became All Elite in 2022. Again, according to Timeless Toni Storm, the match prior to it said, unfortunately for her, she'd taken one too many risks when it comes to me. She's left a bad taste in my mouth and I don't like it. She's disrespected me. Wednesday, recently in Dynamite, I gave her a little piece of my mind as a bit of a prelude, what you can expect in the match. I'll be putting on a full stop to her. This is for her. I'm going to absolutely send her to a complete mental breakdown. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it because she's not been pleasant. She's not been nice. Now, Storm versus Moné has been widely regarded as the biggest women's match in AEW history and a clash between two of the roster's most dedicated stars. So when I say the biggest women's match in 20 years, I mean WWE has had some really, really good title matches. But the lead-in over the last year were timeless. late 2023, early 24, she really developed the character. And a lot of people don't know what she does. She's sort of like a Joan Crawford meets Betty Davis meets Gloria Swanson. She's even done work for TCM as a guest host and a guest presenter. Now, Timeless Toni Storm, who had lost this match, I think it would have diminished what she'd done over the last while. So whoever was the booker, this is kayfabe talking, Storm had everything to lose and Money had everything to gain, but Money came up short. Now, Mercedes Mone, the former WWE star, I've never really liked her wrestling style because I find her a little bit, generic, and that's okay. Generic wrestlers have won many titles. I find Randy Orton very generic as well, more like a pretty boy with a little bit of tattoos. But Timeless Toni Storm, when she was WWE, they couldn't do anything with her. They didn't know what to do with her, and she created her own way. Now there's throwbacks with this, with Pat Patterson, throwbacks with this, with Gorgeous George. She flaunts her what they call sexuality, whatever it is. She might be pansexual, she might be bisexual, she might be a lesbian. It depends on what is going on. But I think the thing that put her over the top, when she was teaming with Thunder Rosa, I think in a series of matches, she self-named the group Thunder Tits. And her key line, chin up, tits out, watch for the shoe, is often reference to old Hollywood. So if Joan Crawford could come back, or Gloria Swanson, or Betty Davis, and to see Toni Storm, you would see as a tribute. So she's taking the aspects of what they call Hollywood wrestling, which was a thing back in the day, wrestling from Hollywood, and she's taken it to a new level. Now Mercedes Mone, obviously she's landed on her feet. She's making big money as an international star, but someone had to lose, and I don't think it was time for Mone to beat Toni Storm. There might be a time where Toni Storm will be the number 2 again, but right now she's the number 1 female wrestler in the world. No matter what you see in WWE, no matter what you see in Japan, because the people that get her, like me, like you see her presentations, like these shoots, 35 to 40 seconds. It's amazing. It's a throwback to the mic work of people like Dusty Rhodes, Macho Man Savage, and everything she says from the heart. I'll know she's playing a character, but what's kind of freaky about this, she's not your physically imposing wrestler. She's suffering from the same thing LuFisto suffers, excessive fat in the lower legs. She's not the most physically imposing wrestler. And Mercedes Mone has put on like 15, 20 pounds. She's looking like a Playboy model lately. But so it was a victory over common sense, over a flash. So ladies and gentlemen, Toni Storm still AEW Women's World Champion. And like I said, if you love Mone, if you like Storm, I don't think this is the last chapter for both of them. But I'm glad to announce Toni has retained her belt. Congratulations from a fellow Commonwealth country. Canada, Australia, New Zealand are very tight. Thanks for listening. If you like what you're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share.